All right, this is 7 of 7, and it's our last, it's kind of a conclusion. It's our wrap up. We're going to wrap up with this one, and it's just 4 things on the screen, and we're going to put them all up at one time. Oops, already did, didn't I? Number 1, don't forget to date occasionally, and don't take this the wrong way, and I'm not telling you there's a right way and a wrong way to do it, but I am telling you that it's all right if you got a date night set aside, but I think it's probably a mistake. And the only reason for that is once you say we're going to set every Tuesday night's our date night, and then the sure as the world something's going to happen next Tuesday, and somebody's going to have a crisis, and then you feel like you broke something. One of the kids got sick. We didn't have a choice. Well, I know, but we could have made your mother come over and keep them. She's not afraid of catching COVID-19. She could have come over. Nobody cares. We should have. So now you feel like you betrayed somebody when all you were doing was taking care of a life problem. You got it? Number 1, occasionally is the word. Don't put it on a calendar, because then when you break it, you change priorities. The spouse is not as important as what I had to do. I had to go to work. Well, that's why you don't put it on a calendar. You can't put love on a calendar. You can't put romance on a calendar. Don't make a date night that you have to live by. Just date sometimes. Just go out. My wife and I went to dinner. I don't remember when. Last night? When did we eat at Jasper's? Night before last? My wife and I went to Jasper's not sometime recently. If you don't know it, Jasper's is a little high dollar. It's not a place you just say, hey, let's just run up here and get a burger. It's a little high dollar. But I wanted something nice. I wanted to take my sunshine somewhere nice. So we went to Jasper's. Nobody's business. We just go up and pull in the fancy little park area, and we go into Jasper's to order tenderloins and I don't know what else, ribs or salmon or something. Nice, a little pricey, nice. While we're sitting there, one of our children calls. What are y'all doing? And she can't call, she calls on FaceTime. We're in a restaurant, and now we have to FaceTime. Well, we don't, but someone at the table does. What are y'all doing? It's loud. We're just calling to see what y'all are doing. My wife. Well, we're eating at Jasper's. And there's a silence for a moment. What? Jasper's? Did I miss an anniversary or something? Is that the only time I can take my wife to a nice restaurant is anniversary? Please. So I had to listen to this exchange go on a little bit. Hey, that's date night for us. It wasn't on the calendar, it's just date night. Of course, we can have a lot of date nights now that the kids are gone. Thank God, don't bring them back. We're not wanting them back. I just keep things going like they are. The point I'm trying to make is you and your spouse need to remember that you just need to get together now and then. Kids can dominate, and that brings us to number 2. I don't have to click. That brings us to number 2. You need to keep the bedroom a place that you and your spouse go to at the end of the day. It does not need to be a utility room. It does not need to be the clutter catch-all room. It does not need to be the kids' room unless you got to have an infant in a bassinet by the bed. As soon as that little toddler is big enough to sleep in a bed, you need to get them out of that room. I'm not trying to give you parenting advice, and I don't want you to cripple your children forever mentally and emotionally by cutting the umbilical cord, before they're 15 years old. But I am telling you that if you don't do that, after a while, you and your spouse lose one of the greatest moments you have to just bond and draw close to each other. You need to be able to have a safe place to go into. If you're going to throw clutter somewhere, don't clutter the bedroom. Throw it in a closet, throw it in a garage, but keep a place that belongs to you and your husband forever. Because you're not going to have your kids forever, you know that. They're not going to be with you forever. Number 3, keep the kids in their place, not between you and your spouse. Number 4 says, keep a future alive. And here's the question that we'll close with. What will you do after? I didn't finish that sentence. What are you going to do after your kids are gone? What are you going to do when the kids are gone? Are you going to love each other then? Are you going to have sexual relations then? Are you going to be kind and soft and tender then? Are you going to pick up your clothes then? Are you going to wash things and clean things then? What are you going to do after? What if one of you lost a job? What will you do after that crisis occurs? Just always be thinking that this is not the end all right now. This is just a stepping stone to something else and something else and something else. Always improving, always building, always getting better, always learning from your mistakes, and always keeping an eye on next year. What are you going to do now? Where are you going to be? Where are you going to be this same time next year? In your marriage, I'm talking about. Are you going to be better? Are you going to be worse? Are you sitting around right now saying, I'll tell you one thing, if things don't change, we ain't going to make it. Well, you might not make it talking and thinking that way. That's why number 4 is up here as our last statement. You need to keep a future alive for you and your spouse. Always be planning for the future and always knowing no matter how many kids you're involved in today and what activities and they have, and we've been through it. You go through all these things, school, games, balls, all that stuff, but all that's temporary. When it's all gone, it's just the two of you. What are you going to do then? Every step of the way, you need to be thinking about what's next for us. What's next? God bless you. I hope this has been of some value to you, and I hope that your marriages last forever. My wife and I are working on 40 some odd years. We're working on 48 years. I knew she would know the exact number, and I will tell you that every year gets better than the last. I hope and pray for you and for your marriage that that's the way it works for you. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in, and that concludes session 7 of 7, our seminar. God bless all of you as our prayer.